I feel like this game is the gay experience. Like you are a new gaby and you are dropped into this world that you have your own language, your own culture. You have no idea what to do and mistakes will be made. And it's just like, it's the gay
Mm-hmm.
experience. This game is the gay experience. It's like,
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know who you people are. You guys are speaking a language I don't understand. It's just crazy.
That's so amazing. Tunic. Tunic is literally the gay experience in video game form. I think that is, put that on the front of the box because I think that's going to sell some copies. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of the Addison Gaming Podcast, the show where we talk about the games we want whenever they came out, because that's what we're playing. We're going to talk old stuff, we'll talk new stuff, we'll talk everything in between. I am your host, WckdGmrUK Allen, but on this episode, you can call me the Siege Engine because I love that boss battle in Tunic. And as always, I am joined by the most amazing co-host in the world, Mike Malldee, aka Foxy, the sword-swinging badass. How you doing, Mike?
Foxy. I like it. I'm feeling foxy.
Yeah, you're looking foxy with your little foxy cap on, like that.
Yes, so we're talking Tunic today, right?
Totally.
So I have my Zelda shirt on. That's way too big for me. And my little fox hat because this game is giving me Zelda with some creepiness. And then of course he's a fox, a cute little furry.
Yeah, definitely Zelda inspired. And as I was doing some research on this game, the designer of the game, Andrew Soldis, I believe his name is how you say it, Soldis or Soldice. He actually stated that like one of his influences was reading the manuals of The Legend of Zelda on the NES as like where it kind of came from. So yeah, I mean, absolutely. So nice attire, Mike. Nice attire to bring it all together. Absolutely. So yeah, on this episode, we are going to go deep dive into our playthrough of Tunic. We've got some great segments, how we're going to talk about the game, and Mike's going to share those with you later. He came up with those, which had me absolutely cackling. I love them at least, so we hope you all love them. And then we're going to rate this game with our new rating system, which we'll also share with you. But before that, Mike, you were texting me some potential purchases for some retro gaming systems this week, which got me thinking, man, oh man, do I wish I had a really big games room where I could throw all my money away and just have them all piled up. Which ones were you looking at? And why were you trying to buy systems before you're moving country?
I know. So I'm moving out of the country and I am selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace. And so I'm like, I pulled out my old Wii. I have the original NES bag, like the the NES, the regular Nintendo carrying case where you put the whole system in there and it has a game area and it's beautiful blue and red color.
Yes.
It's really cool and it says Nintendo on the front. I've had it since we got the Nintendo and I was like a baby.
Oh my God.
And so I've had it that long. And so I was like curious. So I went to Facebook Marketplace and typed it in and see how much these things are going for. And they got some eBay results as well. And it's going for anywhere from $50 to $100 for this carrying case. And I'm like, okay,
all right.
Still maintain its value.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably what it cost originally.
And so anyways, I kept scrolling, and then here it comes, the Breath of the Wild, the bow with the ancient arrow, like replica model thing. I was like, I need this in my background. And then I was like, okay, $350. Can I justify this? And how will I take it to London with me? And then I keep on scrolling and scrolling. So I'm about to put my Wii on there to sell. And my Wii is modded. So anyway, but that's fine, right? Okay. Anyway, I'm looking online and I'm finding all these Wiis and they're all going for $100 to $200 depending on what it comes with. and I had the whole Rock Band setup and everything with the drums, the guitar,
Oh my
and the little
gosh.
dongles. And I just looked up to see how much the dongles were going for. The dongles were going for like $50 each online, $30 to $50 each. And then the guitar is like 100 and something. The drums are 100 and something. I was like, why are people? I said, are these even selling? But anyways, I sold it all to this guy, and except I decided to keep. I'm never gonna play Rock Band again. But
Oh yeah.
it's just too much stuff to have, you know.
So much fun though. I
Yeah,
fucking
so much
loved Rock
fun,
Band.
but also
So
like,
much
how am I
fun.
going to travel with that guitar?
No.
So
No, I can't
anyway,
imagine the universe where you did travel with all of this, with all of your Rock Band stuff, and then you actually bought the Link's crossbow stuff, and like what customs would say about that. They'd be like, "Sir, excuse me, sir, what are you doing here? What is all
exactly
this shit?"
what is going on. So so yeah, so I ended up not selling my Wii though. I plugged it in, it works. I was playing with it on my TV, and then I hit the eject button, and out comes GameCube Smash Brothers Melee, and
Oh,
I'm like,
shut up.
oh man, how much does this go for? So I looked up online. It's like selling for regular game price, like $60 to $70 for just the
Mm-hmm.
disc. And I said, I can't get rid of this. So now my Wii lives in my Nintendo carrying case.
Oh, that's such a nice like full circle moment for that bag to like be
Exactly.
carrying a retro bag carrying what is now probably a retro console again,
It
right?
is.
I mean,
It
Wii's
really
retro
is.
now.
But I
Jeez
mean,
Louise.
and I'm not ready to get rid of the Wii. And I tried. I have my little so I have an external hard drive attached to my Wii, and I
Mhm.
had all these games loaded, and I was like, huh. So I clicked the game because obviously I don't have the disc inside there, and the game loaded fine, and I was
Oh,
playing Mario
cool.
Kart, and I was playing Smash Brothers without the disc, and I was playing or the Wii Smash Brothers, and everything was working. And I said, okay, well, this is still legit. Like I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep this in case I get like an itch. So to go
Oh
retro.
man.
Oh, and
That
I have the original, not original, I guess they are GameCube controllers, but they're like Wavebird, and so they're
yes.
wireless.
Yeah,
And
that's the
I
one
was
you want.
playing Smash Brothers with that, and it was working. And I was like, I was like, okay, I can't get rid of this. It's like too much. Like, what does Marie Kondo say? Spark joy. Like,
Oh
I
yeah. If it
cannot.
sparks joy, yeah, exactly.
But what if
Uh,
everything sparks
well,
joy?
that's the fucking problem with Marie Kondo Spark and Joy is that everything sparks joy, or even just a little like little click of spark or something, right? It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
especially
just
with video
brings
game
back.
stuff. All of that. It's just you can think about all the times you spent like hooking up Rock Band, playing when you were having drinks with your friends,
Yeah,
you know, trying to get really really good at like the rhythm section of it, and like you
and
know,
just
did you have all the
memorizing it
drummings and everything as well?
and playing Freebird. Try to. Oh my
Yep,
god, that was so fun. But
so fun,
yeah, maybe
so
one day
fun.
when I'm rich and have a gaming room, I'll go back and rebuy everything.
That's it, everybody.
And that's
Yeah,
another
like
thing I read about the sparking joy with Marie Kondo. It was like it's okay to sell something that sparks joy, because then or sell like it's okay to get rid of it. And then if you have to buy it again, that's fine. That just means this is something that's going to be a staple in your life, and it's okay to buy it again because you're rich and whatever. So
well, except that like if on the retro console side of things, like don't sell that shit. Hold
I
on to it
know.
because I think like that's only just going to get more expensive.
Yeah, I have
Because
my
they're not making any
3DS
more
right
of them,
here,
right?
and so I'm going to keep my 3DS forever. I'm going to keep my 2DS forever. I'm going to keep my Wii forever. So and my Game Boys.
Love
Never get
it.
rid
Be
of them.
buried with them. Let's be.
Yeah, I
We
will.
can bury you with them, Mike. Yeah.
Why not?
I'm so disappointed, you know, because I did that thing when I was growing up where I would sell my Nintendo so I could get a Genesis, or sell my Genesis so I could get a Game Gear, or sell that at Funko Land
Yeah.
and get, you know, whatever thing. So I would like sell and resell and rebuy and stuff. And I mean, that was great as a kid because, you know, we didn't have a lot of money and I couldn't have all the systems. So I got to try a lot of things. But like, I wish, you know, future me could have told, you know, younger me, like, just hold on to that Nintendo, or don't like
Yeah.
don't let your nephews play with the Virtual Boy because it's going to get lost and that's a collector's item. And now it is. I don't know where
Everything
it is in the
is.
world. But yeah, so from now on, I'm holding on to my systems. I've got my Wii U tucked away in there. I've got my 3DS. You know, I'm not going to get rid of my Switch when I get my Switch 2.
I
I
know
think
I
it's
have
yeah,
two Switches right now. I'm like, I can't
yeah.
get rid of it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I ever want to get rid of them? Like I have one regular Switch, I have an OLED Switch, and now I'm about to have a Switch 2, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna
We're
do.
sickos, Mike. We know it. We are gaming sickos, and we love it, and we are proud of it. And I just good luck bringing that all over here. Is all I gotta
Yes,
say.
it's all gonna be on my carry-on. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I might leave my original Switch here, and then yeah, and then get it later to whenever I come back and visit.
Yeah, totally. Because that one day when when you, like you say, when you've got the space, you can set it all up and it's going to look really cool.
Yes.
I can see it a couple years down the line from now, out of sync gaming episode with all of your stuff in the background, looking real good. And we can come over and play that shit. Because I really wish you had the Rock Band stuff because I'd love to play that again. But
Oh, sorry.
that's okay. Break my
There's
heart.
no way I was transporting that. The box that came in alone was like this big, that
Oh,
fat.
yeah.
And it was like buying a TV. Like it came in like a TV box that was a little shorter, and I'm like, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The fact I held on to that after, and I moved like 4 times, and I've held on. That's traveled with me, but the moving was at least with a U-Haul. So this one,
Yeah.
it's like I can't put it on an airplane. I could, but like it's a waste of space.
I was just remembering, God, that Rock Band craze was coconuts. I mean, and just think about how much money Activision made on all of the accessories that people had to buy for it. But I did feel like a badass when I was playing it. And at the time, one of my dear friends, Jamie, she had like the setup with the drums and the guitar and everything.
Oh, I had it all.
But like we would get like
And the
really
microphone.
aggressive and like we would start pushing each other.
Oh my
so
God.
we would mess up when we were like playing.
Start slamming the guitars.
We would start slamming it, but I had to keep saying to Jamie, I was like, Jamie, we're supposed to be on the same team. We're like trying to play the band together. She goes, I don't care. I want to be better than you. So it was actually like contact, Rock Band. Like it was definitely the potential for some breaking arms there. I don't know.
Mosh
it was
pit.
just, but we had such a good time. I really loved it. What a wonderful time that was for gaming.
It really was. And you know what? I'm like wondering why they don't make Rock Band again for like, I would play it on my Switch. Yes, you might need, but they made the stupid, I don't know if it's stupid. Sorry if you liked it, but the cardboard thing, and you make all these things with the Switch and the cardboard cutouts, and you can play
Labo.
piano. Labo,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
And they made all that, and that's like something that you don't need. Like, I mean, what am I trying to say? That you can't really travel with. You have to play that in like at home. So I'm like, yeah, you can make Rock Band still, and I'll play it at home. And imagine a new version of it. It would be so good.
Oh, they really should.
There's so many good songs that have came out, and there's also classics, of course. But like, come on.
Do you know, Mike? Because you've got do you have your DS still?
I have the original DS Lite.
Okay, this should work then. If you go on eBay, not that you need to buy more things, but if you go on eBay, look for the DS adapter for Rock Band DS, and they did.
Oh, I've seen it. It has a little.
Yeah,
you hold it.
Yeah, you put the device in where the Game Boy Advance cartridge would go on the bottom, and then you would play it that way with like one hand. I'm like, man, that thing got everywhere. That's the one
I saw
you need.
that,
Could you
and it's
imagine
expensive. So that was through my scrolling.
Yeah.
That was like $150 alone. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that one I never played. I really wish I could have played that one, but apparently, it did the job just fine. I mean, if you got to rock, you got to rock, and wherever you are, I say just bust it out, rock out, get it done, get it done.
I agree.
But we are not here to talk about Rock Band. We are here to do a deep dive down into Tunic.
And by the way, this is spoilers alert. So, like, if you don't want to know anything about this game because you literally don't know anything about this game when you start playing it, and that's the whole purpose of it. So, spoiler alert, don't watch. Or we do want you to watch though. So, but it's going to be some spoilers.
Yeah, full on spoiler alert blanket. Thanks for saying that, because I forget to do that. I'm already thinking like we're talking about an old game anyways, but I think you're right.
Just make sure to put that in the title.
Yeah, exactly.
You can listen
we're
to
going to
the
go
banter
into
part.
everything. Everything's on the table. So yeah, definitely going to get into some spoilers and talk about our thoughts on the game. I think I'm pretty much. I was hoping to have completed it before we got into this.
Me too, but there's just so many little things.
Yeah, so many little things. I think I'm pretty much towards the end game, which we'll get into. And I think you've almost finished it. You've pretty much finished it.
I'm pretty sure
as well.
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm not done, but I'm pretty sure what I have to do to be done, I can do.
Okay. Yeah, I think me too. Yeah, and we'll talk about where we're at as we get through it. But before we get into it, Mike, you came up with some killer segments to help us talk through this game. This is so funny when you sent me these. I was literally laughing my ass off. I find it funny. I hope the listeners find it funny. But I think this is brilliant. So, Mike, tell the listeners and the watchers at home, what are the segments we're calling each segment so that we can talk our way through this game?
Okay, so we have our first impressions, of course. It's basically so Tunic is this fox character. It's a Zelda-like game. And so first impressions, it's Link as a furry, basically. Link with
Totally.
a twink as a as a furry. Legend of Zelda inspired furry edition.
Like he's
So
gone to some sort of like furry Comic Con Zelda
yes,
realness. I love it.
exactly.
Perfect.
Also, you don't know what's happening. You can't read the language. Nothing makes sense, and so you'll like chat with somebody, or you'll click on something and read a sign, and normally it'll say like, town that way. Instead, it's like
Mhm.
this alien like language. So
Yeah,
like, what the fox is going on? And
totally. I asked myself that a lot when I was playing this game.
yeah, and this game, don't be fooled by it. It looks really cute, and it looks like, oh, this is a simplistic kind of art form, but it is the most challenging thing I've played all year, or I don't even
Hmm.
several years now. Like it is harder than any Zelda game I've ever played, and it is yeah. So anyway, but that's where combat couture comes in because you have to be good at this. You have to be like a designer combat because if you don't, like
Yeah.
in most games you don't even use a shield and stuff. And so,
Hmm.
like, you just I have a shield, but you never use it because you never need it. This one, you need your
Hmm.
shield. So, but we're gonna get into
Yeah,
all that.
definitely some great Souls-like combat in this one. Yeah, super hard. I
Exactly.
can't wait to talk about that.
And the
What's
game
the
manual
fourth
is my
segment?
favorite. Manual madness because the game manual is my favorite part, but also the most wild part of this game. It's like you don't realize that the manual is basically it is your instructions on how to complete the game, but it's in a language you don't understand, so you have to figure all this out. And you
Mm.
can figure out the language. It is decipherable and it is translatable. The problem is that you don't need to do it to figure out how to beat the game. So and then we're
Yeah,
gonna
which I
rate
think
it.
is which I think is a and we'll get into I think that's kind of a strength and a weakness of this game, the manual madness part. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
gonna really great segment there. And then last but not least, what's the final segment for
It's I feel
this?
like this is how we're gonna rate all our games from now on. Whether it's a top or a bottom, or maybe a verse, who knows? So, and then into like a top, is the game punishing? Is it demanding? Is it a bottom? Is it inviting or mysterious? Is it verse? Is it complex, balanced? So, we're gonna we're gonna deep dive into that, and I think, well, I'll let you know what this is, but we'll get there eventually.
Awesome. Definitely. What a rating system. Yeah, I think who knows? I can't wait to see what games we rate tops, bottoms, or verse. Because we're here for it. So,
We are.
yeah, first impressions, Link as a furry. Um I,
What did
I
you
gotta
think when you
say,
first before you even opened the game and started playing?
yeah.
Like what? Because you knew a little bit about Tunic. There's a
Mm-hmm.
reason why we
Mm-hmm.
bought it because it was like looked cool, kind of like looked cute and fun. But like, what was your
Yep.
first impression? What were you expecting when you started the game?
So okay, I had a little bit of a back when it first came out, and because I have Game Pass on Xbox and
Oh yeah, it's on there.
it's part of that. Yeah, so back when it originally came out, I don't know if it came straight to Game Pass, but I know fairly early on it was one of those really strong Game Pass games. And I downloaded it and I think I played like the first 10 minutes. So, but I didn't really remember that. That was like back in 2022. So it was kind of like, restarting from scratch. But
Yeah.
as you say, like I did know enough about the game, it being really challenging, it having, kind of Zelda-like elements, but and also knowing that there were certain things like the manual and the language that nothing's really clear. You're sort of just you wake up in this world as the fox character and you have to start exploring.
Hmm.
And I've said this on previous episodes. That is absolutely my type of game. I love it when you aren't spoon fed where to go. You just have to kind of start moving around and figure shit out. So, I was super excited that this one was the one we decided to start, when we were thinking about our backlog on the last episode. And I was really glad because you mentioned this one and
Yeah,
I
I
hadn't
just
forgot
really
about it.
wanted to play it. Like
Yeah.
I've had it in my backlog, and I'm like, I really want to play this game, but I know how complex it is just
Yeah.
from me reading. Because I'm one of those people who will read and watch videos, but not like spoiler videos, but just watch like a gameplay,
Okay.
and before I even purchase a game, because I want to know everything about it
Oh, really?
beforehand, like for the
Okay.
most part. And so I
Sure.
already knew that. it was challenging. I knew that it was Zelda-like. I guess Link's Awakening in a way, but a lot more complex. And then
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and I knew it had this language that you had to like kind of figure out, and
Mm-hmm.
that's all I knew. And then I was going to buy the cartridge because it came out with a special edition cartridge for Nintendo
Oh,
Switch,
cool.
and it came with the game manual as well. Like you can actually have it.
Oh,
But then I
cool.
feel like if I would have bought that and I got that game manual, which I am looking online for that now because I'm going to buy it, but
Yeah.
just the manual at least. But that would have probably ruined the game for me because the whole purpose is finding the pages of the manual to figure out what you're doing next. And so if I would have already had the
Mm.
manual fully done in my hand, I would have been
Yeah.
like, oh, I get it now. Oh, I already know. I know what I have to do, this and that. Um, but yeah, my first
Yeah, that's
impressions.
interesting. I'd be just sidebar. I'd be curious if when you do get it, just to see how they handled that because I didn't realize they did that that aspect. Because like, is it the actual game manual that you're
Mhm.
finding in the game, or did they do something different to
No, it's the
like I don't
same.
know make it special?
It's the same. They do it,
Oh,
but there are Etsy people online who have translated the language, and you can buy it in full English.
oh my God! I
Yes,
love the internet.
I love the
People are
internet.
so cool and clever and amazing. Like the fact that they've gone and done this, but that's just a testament to this game, right? Like it's
Yes.
really that good that it really sparks your curiosity. It really drives your interest. Like I kept going, like, oh, I want to turn the corner here. I want to go see what's behind that door. Or I
Yeah.
really want to know more
There's
about this.
so many
Like
secrets.
all of this. So yeah, that's so cool that it's brought a community of people together just to kind of really like bring it to life
Exactly.
outside of the game.
So my
Mm.
first impressions of this game were I was just lost. I was thrown into this game like I was like, okay, I don't know what the hell I have to do. So I
Hmm.
just started like trying to read everything. Of course, I couldn't understand it. And
Yeah.
so okay, listeners, like this game is you are a fox and you are in this world that has been ruined by destruction. It literally is a Zelda game. And
Yeah.
there's some enemies and there's like mysteries and you don't and there's these weird shrines that you don't go in them. It's like you just worship at them and then it resets the day and resets your health. But then all the monsters come back that you've killed when you do that.
Yeah.
And then but you
Yeah.
have to do it. So and then it's just like you don't know what you're doing. So this goes into our next segment, like what the fox is going on. Because literally you dive into this cryptic nature of the game, like it's fake language, a vague story, there's
Hmm.
hidden mechanics, you have
Hmm.
no idea what you're even doing. And it's so frustrating. And at first I was so frustrated that I didn't want to play anymore because I was so lost. But I
Oh,
went
really?
online. I was at first because there was a
Oh,
moment
okay.
where I was just like, I'm dying instantly to these people. I don't understand. Like the most simplest characters that are now like I just kill right away. I am
You're right.
dying, and then I'm like, and I didn't find my shield yet. So because you have to fight, you were left with you start with nothing, just and then you go into this
Nothing.
room and you get a stick.
Hmm.
You get a stick
Yep.
to whack things around, and which I haven't figured out if there's a purpose for that stick now. Like, why would you want the
Oh
stick in the
yeah.
end game? But maybe there is a purpose for the stick at some point. I don't know. We'll think about that. But anyway,
Yeah.
so
I
like you're
haven't
thrown
discovered
into
one.
this game, not knowing anything. I was dying instantly. So I went online and I typed in specifically no spoilers, tips and tricks for Tunic. And
Very
thank
clever.
God
Yeah.
I did because I was like, oh my gosh, thank you, thank you. It just it helped me with the mechanics and just kind of like put me in the right direction. Kind of like when you're asking for a
Hmm.
clue. It just gave me little hints that video. It was like a 10-minute video. And
Yeah.
that literally just kind of propelled me forward. And then now I feel like I'm a badass in this game. So
That is one of the so yeah, I echo all of that. Like same first impressions. I thought okay, so I get what this game is trying to be, right? I think it very much is it's more three quarters and like diorama kind of setting
uh
versus top down like Zelda is or like the
exactly,
original
yeah.
ones were.
It has
So
a lot of
there's like
perspective.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Annoying
Which I want
perspective
to
at
come on to.
times.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that because I want to come on to that. It's totally fucking annoying. But like, it's very in terms of it looks like it's going to be a simple kind of game. It's just because of the way they've designed the graphics of
Hmm.
it. They're really clean, they're really toyetic. And
I
they're really
love the
cute.
blur
That
and the pan
fox is
outs
so
too.
cute. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They do some good
The
work with
fox is
camera and
adorable.
all that stuff. Uh, so and I kind of, I quickly found the stick. I didn't really didn't run into kind of too much trouble with the first round of enemies and things. I kind of got the sense that, okay, take your time. Don't just go like, charging in, trying to, hit them with the stick. You might need to dodge and get out of the way a little bit. And so I kind of didn't maybe get that first kind of barrier that you had. But where I did get the barrier was, it was the design of the world itself, going to that perspective piece, because whilst it's a really beautiful game, like really trying to understand where you need to move in the game, like what the fox is going on? Like it's like you can't always see based on the way that the angle is of the game, like if you need to go around a certain wall, or if you need to go through a door that doesn't even look like a door, or a little crack in a mountainside or something. And so I kind of
behind a waterfall.
Yeah, all of that.
And then you're also like, there's all these like things, like there's these little hints or clues, or like for example, there's this part in the game where you get this magic orb, and it acts as like a grappling hook, and you see all these hooks everywhere. You're like, how do I get there? And you're like, where is this grappling hook I need to find?
Yeah.
And you're like, where is it? And same thing with these other parts, like where like there's no grappling hook to get over there. How do I get over there? And it's just really frustrating in that aspect. But that's the whole point, because as the further you get all the tools you need to get to these places. But you don't understand that at first. You're like, maybe this is a secret and I need to figure out how to get there. Like, where do I have to blow up a wall to get through a door? Like, how do I get here? But
I think those visual cues worked super well. So like I kind of clicked really quick. I was like, okay, that's obviously something that I'm going to discover. But then like certain areas, like, one of the things this game loves to do is hide treasure chests behind a part where, because it's not a free roaming camera,
and
right?
you'll never be able to see it. You'll never be able to see that treasure
exactly.
chest either. It's just hidden behind a wall, behind perspective. And and then you kind of get like stuck in there sometimes. You're like, I can't move. Like, where am I going? And then you obviously all you see is like the little button, like A or whatever button you're using in your console. But it's just like pops up above your head, and you're like, oh, A.
Yeah, the action button.
Oh, and you open up a treasure chest.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think eventually I sort of figured out the visual language of the game, right? When I went, oh, okay, so if there's sort of maybe a little bit of light coming through a rock, I'm like, okay, it kind of wants me to go in there. Or, so you sort of walk through the world in different segments, right? And it does that setup where it ushers you along a certain path where you have to go through enemies and learn to fight them, and then eventually you'll get to a point where you can drop a rope or a ladder, and you can then, traverse that area a lot faster.
you can get back to where you were quicker.
Yeah, which I like and I really appreciate. There were a few times where like there was a direct shortcut literally right next to an entrance that was hidden so far behind a wall and trees and stuff. Yeah, and I'm going like, this I'm kind of glad I discovered it, but it's like it didn't need to be that obtuse. Like, it was just too obtuse sometimes. This isn't fun. This is actually kind of annoying. And, to the point where it's just it makes it not fun, right? It actually I found it really annoying. I mean, I'm sure there's, people who love, like finding like really deep secrets, but some of those secrets would have been so helpful in terms of traversing the world and whatnot. And that when I did find them, I was like, oh, come on. Why didn't you just make that a little bit clearer?
Exactly. Or it's just like, sometimes you'll be like in an area where you're like, you destroy all these enemies. You're like, okay, now why are they here? What's the purpose of them being in this location? And then you're like wandering around, and you're like, and then all of a sudden you like go behind this perspective area, and then you start moving, and you're like, okay, and then you have to go like turn left, turn right, turn down. You're like, I can't see what I'm doing. But then you get to that secret, and you're like, oh, really, guys? Like, this is an unnecessary secret. And what makes it even more mad, when I get to that secret, I open that chest and it's just a bunch of coins. I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
sometimes
I
it
wanted
definitely
something
was
good.
not.
I wanted something like even like better than coinage. So
But I think, it's also a love-hate thing with that, right?
yes,
Because I
yes,
think the perspective was really cool a lot of times, and that's a little minor complaint, right? It's not all the time that it gets in the way,
no,
but for the most part, I think the way they designed the world makes it feel like a puzzle that you're solving,
yeah,
and really helps give that sense of like a mystery about the world, right? You don't understand the language. You're not really sure how to traverse this land, but as you go through, you sort of are just gaining confidence, not only in like the language of the design, but then the battles and the combat system and all that. So I think, it definitely borrows from Zelda, but I think it does things a lot better than Zelda does, in terms of which I want to get into when we start to talk about the combat. But I think there's some really great inspiration from the games that the designer Andrew Schuldice obviously used for his inspiration to create this game. But just some of the things as we've been talking about, just a little bit annoying, as you play through it.
yeah. And then what I had told you in the past, I was like, I feel like this game is the gay experience. Like you are a new gaby and you are dropped into this world that you have no idea how to. That you have your own language, your own culture. You have no idea what to do, and mistakes will be made. And it's just like it's the gay
Hmm.
experience. This game is the gay experience. It's like
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know who you people are. You guys are speaking a language I don't understand. It's just crazy. And I'm a furry by that. That's the only thing I got going for me. So
I guess you just got to embrace it, right? And just like
mhm.
trust the process. I mean, that's like that whole metaphor. I think like that's so amazing. Tunic is literally the gay experience in video game form. I think that is, put that on the front of the box because I think that's going to sell some copies. That reminds me of like my first experience of going to Berghain over in Germany. It's like this. I know I'm going into this like amazing club or this world, but then like around each corner, around each little
There's a
nook
little
or cranny, it's like
surprise.
you don't know what you're gonna run into, and it's like all like different, all different sorts of like gay culture happening all the time. It was definitely a Tunic experience, though nobody gave me the manual to work my way
No,
through
there's no
it.
manual.
I could have dealt with it.
You maybe found little manuals on the floor. I don't know. No, there was no manual, but there was definitely an e-manual. So
I'm sure there was 100%. And it was in German, so it's kind of like the language I didn't really understand. So maybe,
yeah, the
who
only
knows?
word
Yeah.
I understand in German is Scheiße. So
Uh, I mean, I did
thank you,
not.
Lady Gaga.
I, thank you very much, Lady Gaga. And I'm sure. Great, well done. Yes, there you go, listeners. You've learned a German word. Fantastic. Um, so yeah, I think first impressions really. I love the way we got into it, and I think absolutely part of that impression is you don't know what's going on, and you got to figure it out, and that's part of the fun of the game. Which,
It is
for the
fun,
most part,
yeah.
I really loved it. I think for me, it made me want to play it more and made me want to continue
Yeah,
getting to the
the
point,
more I got
where I'm at.
into it, the more I was annoyed. But then when you figure it out, the
Hmm.
satisfaction, it was just,
Yes.
I can't even explain it. It was just, I was like, oh, and then the light bulb went off and I was like, oh my God. And big spoiler alert, when you're at one of those doors and those little lines that are like drew on, like they're drawn on doors and stuff, like these patterns,
Hmm.
I decide so one of the things I watched online was this guy and it was no vocals, nothing. He was just kind of playing. And he stood in front of
Right.
the door and then nothing and he was just standing there. There was nothing happening on the screen. And then all of a sudden the door opened. I was like, "What? Why did that door open?" Like he just made it open and I'm standing in front of the same door and it's not opening for me. And so I figured out it is literally like right down, up, down, left, right, but you just follow the pattern with your direction pad and the door opens. I was like,
Shut
"Oh
up.
my God." So once I figured that out,
Oh
and now
man.
the whole game has to do with entering these codes. And I have like a piece of paper, a notebook next to me, writing
Oh
down
my
everything I can do
God.
to make this game work. And so I literally, you have to have like a notepad while you're playing this game. Just so you
See,
know.
there you go. I mean, this is the kind of thing, like this is how I remember playing video games when I was a kid. You remember the playground thing? You'd be playing a game at home, you'd go on the playground and you'd get like some code from a friend. You'd be like, "Oh,
Oh
that's never gonna work."
yes.
And then you'd run home and try it out and you're like, "Oh my God, this is amazing."
Do
Like
you remember
this is
getting like
exactly.
Xeroxed copies of cheat codes and stuff, and like, oh, and then you were
Oh,
like, oh,
totally.
I got the make copies for me, and then that copy, who knows who started it, but it could have came from like California or something. It was just you got
Oh,
these copies, and it's made its way like chain letters, and you're like, we got our codes,
yep.
and now I know all the finish him moves or whatever. So
Yep. Oh yeah, that
I
was
remember
like those
that.
definitely made the rounds. Yeah, although kind of like yeah, special moves and everything from Mortal Kombat, all that was definitely there.
Yeah,
But that's like that like speaks totally to the DNA of this game, right? Like
right.
this designer like absolutely found a way to kind of fold that into this experience, and that makes me like you just said that to me. I want to stop the podcast and like go
You
try
want to go
those doors out
try?
now. Yeah, totally. I'm
You
gonna
just
totally do
follow
that
the
tonight.
pattern with your D-pad, and then boom.
One of the things, in terms of what the Fox was going on, you mentioned earlier that you kind of hit a brick wall with a couple of things, and you're like, okay, I'm going to do a no spoilers check in.
Yes.
And in some way, I think that's deliberate by the designer because, I remember, the whole point, as you said earlier, the whole game is designed around collecting the manuals, which we're going to go deeper into. But, I remember as a kid playing through Nintendo games or Sega games or whatever. And actually within the manual, sometimes you needed to read it to understand what to do and find out next, like
Okay.
just to
Yeah.
get you started.
No, you're
And I
right.
think I think that's kind of that's okay here. Like going to get a little bit of help somewhere is part of the playing experience. So I think if you're, listening and you're curious about this game and you haven't played it, like definitely look stuff up.
Yeah.
Just look stuff up. It's going to help
Don't
you out
hate
and
the
you're going to have a lot more
game
fun.
because you don't want a spoiler. Like
Exactly.
enjoy the game. Like if you need a spoiler, look it up because once you do
Hmm.
that actually like if you find one spoiler online, fine. But that one
Yeah.
thing could be like it's the key to opening up your mind to all these other parts of the game and then you realize like everything clicks light bulb and you don't really need to look up things. You figured it out on your own and it's so
Exactly.
satisfying at that
Yes.
point.
Yeah. Yeah. Give yourself that little permission because everything you just said, Mike, everything you said, because then as you get through, not only does your character grow like in strength and in confidence and all of that, you do too as a player. And you're like suddenly going like, yes, I am mastering this world. Like I
Exactly.
now get it. Yeah. So yeah, really, 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 just a really great meta experience with this game and thinking about, all of the thinking that went into it, not only just in like the way it looks and how it plays, but actually like how people used to play games and get into them and try to discover and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
because I mean, when
yeah.
we played on like the original Nintendo or even Super Nintendo, like these games weren't easy. These games were hard,
Mhm.
and especially on the regular
Yeah.
Nintendo, there was no save sometimes.
Nope.
And you're like, okay, well, if you die, you go back to the very beginning.
Yep. Oh,
So
so annoying. Or like
at least
when
this game has a
would,
save, but you had
or
to figure
like
shit out.
this has a save and you have save states on the Switch, and I played it on the Xbox, where you can like just stop the game and go do
Oh
something
yeah.
else. But remember, as a kid, you would put something on pause and
Oh
hope
my
that your mom
gosh.
didn't turn off the
Yes.
Nintendo.
And hope the power didn't go out. Oh my god, you just leave that on for days.
Oh, yeah, so good. All right, so then something that I absolutely love about this game is the combat couture.
Yes.
Break it down for us, Mike. How do you feel about the combat?
It is difficult. The combat
Hmm.
is difficult. It's not easy. But once you figure out how to manage it, it becomes easier. I guess it becomes not easy, but it becomes doable. And so the thing is though, like like I said earlier, most games nobody ever thinks about who blocks, who really like uses blocking to their advantage. Like you don't like, no, I want to just keep on beating them up and stuff. Like there's no blocking.
Yep.
You don't block,
Hmm.
you don't dodge, you don't try to do things. And if you don't block or dodge, so we have a dodge roll. He had a Tunic guy, kid, Fox for Twink, has a roll that he does. And the roll literally makes you invincible for that second. So like whatever comes at you, even your
Yes.
own bomb, if you throw a bomb and you roll over it, it won't hurt you. So I
Hmm.
figured that out. And so if you don't roll and if you don't use your shield, you will die every single time.
It's
So
impossible.
this
Yeah.
game, the mechanics, like you have to use those defense
Mm-hmm.
mechanisms because, and like I said, most games I just ignore all kind of defense, and I beat them. I get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Same with like Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild. Yes, sometimes you do have to use your shield, but honestly, like you can do it without your shield. You don't need it. Like
Yep.
you can get around without it. This one, like you need your shield. But
Yeah, I'm sure there are some like YouTube of people playing Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom with just
the
winning with the
stick.
stick or something, right? um, and that is I'm so glad you mentioned the need to kind of use all the resources that this game wants you to
Oh
have,
yeah.
or not all the resources, all the combat skills. So
Yes.
the sword, the
And then there's
roll,
also
the
the stamina
shield.
points, the
Yeah.
stamina management as
Mm-hmm.
well. Like
Mm-hmm.
your stamina will go down. Like every time you get hit, you use your shield and you get hit, the stamina points go down. And the only way
Yes.
to replenish them is to stop using your shield so they can come back. But
Exactly.
if once all your stamina is gone, then you take double damage, I think, or you take more damage according to the manual.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so you need to like manage that as well. Like it's like okay, I need to
Yeah.
refresh my stamina before he tries to strike again or something.
Yep.
So
Yeah, it's and then I think they got that balance of those
it
mechanics
was yeah,
all
it's
really
really
well,
well
right?
done.
Like it made for some really intense boss battles, or
Hmm.
like when there was like lots of enemies on the screen as I was like discovering new areas and how those enemies would attack. Like, you couldn't always just rely on using your shield. You sometimes had to start with a dodge and then hit them with a sword and then you block and all that
Hmm.
stuff. So you're constantly using like a three simple triangle of weapons, if you will, that setup. But then it makes you use it in different ways. So it doesn't get stale or repetitive, even though it's so really simple.
Yeah.
And then when you get to like boss battles and stuff, it really tests your skill
Yeah.
level of being
You're
able to
like, I have
kind
to
of.
use all the stuff in my bag, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm switching around stuff. And it's hard to because I notice when you hit the R button or whatever yours is for your controller, but whenever I go into my menu screen, not menu,
Uh-huh.
like maybe see my backpack, it doesn't
Yep.
stop the battle, which pisses me off because I'm just trying to change my wand to my gun or to my little
Yep.
freezing thing, and I'm like, oh shit! So you have to be quick about it, and of course I mess up and then I die. But but like I wish it
I
paused it there for me.
oh
That's one thing I wish. Like, it can change things around and it would pause, but it doesn't.
This is
So you had to
why
go
I
in there
so many
knowing.
times.
Yes, you die,
Yeah.
and then you're like, okay, no, this is my setup. I'll have my sword, and I'll have this, and I'll have this bomb. Okay, that's how I'm
Mm-hmm.
going, and I'm not changing it. So
This was one of my biggest complaints about this game. I think, like, because that's like the Souls like mentality, right?
hmm
So like the Dark Souls and the Elden Ring, they do that where you can't actually like freeze the action on screen to like readjust your inventory.
hmm
You have to keep going, open your menu, select your new weapon, and keep it going. And I found that so fucking annoying, mostly because like even if I accidentally hit the button that opens that menu, I might be like in a frantic way of like trying to
exactly.
like move things. So it's like suddenly I've unequipped my sword and I've equipped just firecrackers, and then I'm like blowing myself up and I can't even use my sword. I was like, this is just bad design. It's not good design. I don't think it's helpful. I think,
Also, I think
sure.
because it's on multi systems, that so for me
Hmm.
the B button is always back. On the
Okay.
switch, and so it's always to
Right.
get out, exit the thing. But now when I hit my
Uh-huh.
B button, it's an item I just switched by accident. I'm like, oh gosh. So like, and so you like, I wish I could rearrange all those controls. Maybe I can, but I don't know. That was frustrating. So I had to relearn, especially because I just came from
Yeah.
playing Hades. I had to relearn everything, all the controls again, because I'm so used to doing other things, and so
Yep.
that's been a learning thing. So it's just when I get into boss battles, I have to make sure
Hmm.
I know what I'm doing. So
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it does. I mean, it does add a layer of complexity and challenge whereas you're learning the boss battles, okay, this is the loadout, if you will, that I need to have to try and
exactly.
make this work. Um, uh, Look, if people want to have, if players want to have that level of challenge where the action never freezes on screen, I think let them have it. I think there should have been an option to say like freeze during shifting, because I just think for me I would have enjoyed that more, because there were so many times that it wasn't even like I was doing a really good job and I wanted to go in to like get a firecracker or whatever and I was really close, And yeah, like eventually I figured it out and I beat the boss or whatever. But like there was a few times I was like, this is just fucking annoying. Don't do it.
I wonder if there is
Listen
a
to
way,
me, game
because
designers.
when I first started the game, I remember choosing medium, like
Uh huh.
regular battle, but maybe there is a way, like, because you can do, comfort or something. Wasn't that, or was I
Yeah.
playing a different game? But you can
I don't.
select your
I don't know.
your level of
Right.
difficulty.
Difficult. Yeah. 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 Exactly. Maybe it. Yeah. Okay. Maybe it does. And if it does do
But
that, then
I'm mad because I don't want to play on easy. I want to play on how it was intended to be played. So
Oh,
I never
I'm
choose
as
easy, and I also never
are.
choose hard. Well, I will choose easy before I choose hard, but I will always choose normal. I'm always like, this is the intent of how the developers wanted you to enjoy the game, so I will enjoy it how you wanted me to. And then in the future, I can try something new. But
Well, Mike, I definitely choose easy and hard because that's how I roll in life.
that was my tongue bob. Sorry, little attitude there.
No, I think no, I think some games. Look, if I know if it's a Souls game, I'm gonna choose like
Are
the
you
easier
playing on
option.
easy?
I don't know what I'm playing on. I think I just started it.
How dare you if you are? How dare you?
Do not shame my game choices. We are not
You
here
can
for
change
game
it to easy
shaming.
if it becomes too hard, but like, don't start on easy. First of all, this
Do
game isn't easy. Even if I bet you
no,
on easy mode, it's still going to
no.
be difficult.
Yeah. I don't know. I need to go check what I chose. I can't remember, but maybe I did choose easy. And I think I'm a badass, but I'm actually not a badass. But hey, listen, no shame here. I think just play how you want to play. It doesn't matter. Um,
Play how you want to play and what you want to play and when you want to play it.
love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Let's dive into this manual bit, though.
Yeah, I think so. Just a couple of things to say on combat real quick, if
Okay,
I can.
okay, okay.
As I said at the start of the episode, I think my favorite boss battle was the siege
Siege engine.
engine. I just thought it was such a cool. So it takes place in the forest area, right? And the game is a mixture of like organic and mechanic, right? Throughout, there's like obviously some sort of robot kind of influence throughout the game, but then there's
Yeah,
also a lot of like organic stuff too that's happening. So like trees and animals and all that stuff,
exactly. Yeah.
and the two are like at kind of odds with each other, and you discover a lot more about why that it goes on about the story, which I totally loved. I want to get to that, in our final thoughts, but I just thought that particular boss, was this almost like big, huge spider like android
Yeah.
that lived in the forest, and it like came together and built itself really well. But it had that mechanic where you could either hit him from the front in the head or hit it from behind in
You
a
can
kind
hit it
of
from the
weak
front, you can
spot.
hit it from the back.
It's a metaphor for gay life. I love it. Um, the more we talk about this, actually, this is a really good thesis.
This
It's
game is
so
so
true.
gay.
Love it. But what I think I really loved about that, not only did I love the design of that boss, but it came at a time when I had been, using those skill points. So as you go through, you collect different items like a flower or a
And then
mushroom or
you
something
offer
like
them
that.
up
Exactly, right? You offer them
to
up.
level up your speed, your stamina points, your attack, your defense, so on and so
Hmm.
forth. Your
Yeah,
mana.
exactly. Yeah, and I had just come to a point where I was really understanding the fight mechanics. I was getting really good at it. I had leveled up, so I was feeling a little bit stronger. And I had just found an item that I wish they should have made this one super early. But it's the sprinting one where he walks faster. Did you find that item?
Yes, but it's not an item, I thought.
No, it is. It is an item. Yeah,
You
there
can
is.
you can just do it. It's in the manual, and I didn't realize it's on one of the pages, like page 12 in the manual, and it says something. It says it's like alien language and hold, and I was like, okay, and it shows the A button. For me, it's A button, and I'm like, okay, so I do it, and then you can sprint. You could have done it from the
Son of a
from the
bitch.
very beginning. I don't think it's not one of those. It's not one of those little like cutout cards that you add when you do the wishing well thing.
but there is a cutting card that does that, where it's always running.
I
So
don't know
this is
about
because
that.
this is
I'm
I
gonna
think I
get my
think I'm
Switch
pretty
now.
true. Yeah. Because okay, so I hated the pace, the normal walking pace. And
Oh, it's so
you know,
slow.
it's so slow, and it was really pissing me off. And then I was like, okay, I can kind of see why they're doing it, because it adds that challenge to the battle mechanics. But if there wasn't now,
I'm
now I
pretty sure
love and
you
hate
could
this
run
game
from the
even
very
more.
beginning.
Oh, son of
They
a
just don't tell you,
bitch.
and you find that page, and then that page, I was like, what do they mean hold? And
I
so,
did see that,
and
but it
so,
never
and
clicked
so,
with me what they meant.
and then I stopped, and then I read online. It was like, read your manual, read your fucking manual, because I love Reddit, because there is like people are asking blatant questions for the answer, and
And they're
everybody's
just
like, we're
like,
not giving it to you.
it's right there.
And then somebody's like, just read your manual. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, fine. So I sat down. I literally probably spent an hour looking at the manual. And this is perfect segue into manual madness,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
was looking at it and I was like, okay, it has an English word here that says hold. And then it has this
Right.
alien language and it has
Mm-hmm.
the A button. So I said, okay. And it
Mm-hmm.
shows an image of him tumbling, like rolling. So I'm like, okay, so I have to roll and hold. So and then I did it, and then I
Yeah.
started running around and I was like, I'm moving so fast. And then I love that when you run, you don't lose your stamina points. So
Son of a bitch. So okay, so I should have read my manual. I should have read my. I mean, I saw that bit in the manual. So just to kind of like for context, so if you haven't played it, as Mike was saying a
you're
little bit earlier in
collecting
the
pages
episode.
of the manual
Yeah.
along the way. And then
Yeah,
these are little
you
clues to what you have to do next, or helpful
yeah.
hints.
And they have they're reminiscent of old, video game manuals,
Yeah.
and with certain kind of cover
I'd
art
say they're exactly like
or
the Super Nintendo manuals. I wouldn't go
yeah.
NES, but they're more like the Super Nintendo manuals. They're like what is it called? Like landscape style, open the
Mm-hmm.
page, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really beautiful too. And I love it because the previous owner of this manual has like handwritten notes inside of it
Yes.
with
So
like
cool.
ideas and like things that he figured out. And so those are
Mm-hmm.
everything in this manual is a clue. And I love that it's a real language that they made up. And
Yes.
I'm sorry, the amount of time that they put into this, like I am super impressed, and
So impressed. Yeah.
quickly became one of my favorite games because of the manual.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And and actually, what I do know is that the manual is so instrumental into the overall game experience, even when you get to the ending. Like, I think to get to the very truest ending, you have to collect every page.
yeah, I'm one page
And
away.
you're one, oh my gosh. So there's
Yeah.
50 pages, right? So you're on your
53,
49?
54 is the back
53.
cover, I
Okay.
think. And then so
Okay,
I'm
cool.
missing the front cover, and I know where it's at. I know
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I know where it's at, and it's going to be very difficult to get. But I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it tomorrow.
I think I'm not necessarily a 100% completionist on things, but I definitely want to go find all the manual like pages, just because, as you say, all the care and attention that went into it, not only from just the artwork of it all, but then the way that it tells more of the story that you just
Yeah.
can't get from by just playing the game itself. And so it's just this. It's such a cool mechanic that I think it really is so unique in its approach. And I think, as you say, that element alone is put it to the top of my list of one of the most innovative games, one of the coolest things to experience in a video game, for all the reasons that we've been talking about in terms
Hmm.
of like retro gaming and our experiences growing up, but also just because like it makes the game itself really cool. Like you like the map system for me is really cool because like it's
It
all on
also
one
shows you on the
page.
map. Did you notice that?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah, yeah. So each area, so there's like 5 or 6 different areas I think in
Yeah.
the game, and each area you discover a map, and there's like
Except the East
dungeons.
Forest does not have a map.
Yeah, no, that's true. It didn't. So yeah, not everything. As you're right, that's true. Not
But
everywhere
then when
does.
you open your manual to these pages and you're in that area, you'll see like a little cute furry fox like
Mm-hmm.
face on
Yeah.
the manual. And you when you move around, it's like, oh, that's where I am. And like, okay,
Yes.
cool. So even though this is a paper manual, like it's interactive
Mm-hmm.
to show where you are in the map, which
Yeah.
is nice.
And it gives, it does the map. That was super nice. I didn't clock that for quite some time, and I'm so glad I kind of like figured that out, because that was
Yeah.
super helpful. But then what I loved about the sort of, it's not necessarily a dungeon per se, but you go into like below ground areas or like deep in a well or whatever. and they'll give you like a 2D version of the map that doesn't have everything like laid out as you get nowadays with like big 3D maps.
Yeah.
So you still have to kind of, open the map up and kind of figure out,
Which
because
way to
it's not maybe
go?
from the same perspective and stuff. And I just loved that aspect. It just made me feel like I was really discovering this in the way that the designer and meant that they wanted people to discover it. So it was just really,
And
really, really cool.
there are parts that are drawn like three-dimensional
Mm-hmm.
looking, and it still
Mm-hmm.
shows you on the map. So I thought it's just very cool how they did it.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, just go online and then you can look at the pages of the map. And then somebody's drawn an East Forest map as well, just at it kind of like a fan
Oh,
fan
okay.
created or
Okay.
whatever. And
Cool.
I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like that should be in the manual. And I wonder why they didn't
Mm-hmm.
include a map for the East Forest. It is not a big area because it's
No.
like that's where you need to go in the beginning. But also, like, I'm curious as to what made them be like, nah, we don't need a map for this side. Like, why?
I that's a really good question. And as you were posing that, I was thinking like I remember back in like manuals there would be sections where it would be where you could take notes
Yeah,
yourself as you were playing the game. So I wonder if the designers were like, let's see if somebody does this. Like somebody makes
I
their own little
love that they
notes of an
did. I love
area.
that somebody
So
did do that.
yeah,
So
exactly. And you were saying, I don't know if you mentioned it on the show or if this was in the pre-show, but you were saying you're starting to figure out the alphabet that's in this game
so
because
yeah.
it's not any sort of normal
So
alphabet.
towards
It's
the
all
end, you
made up.
find this page that kind of breaks down the language, the writing of it,
Uh-huh.
and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of difficult. But back to that rolling page where it says hold, and it also
Mm-hmm.
has another part where it kind of repeats. You can read, you can see the language, and then over here it
Mm-hmm.
repeats the same sentence, but hold is actually written out in the alien language, and I'm calling it
Oh,
alien
right.
language. So I'm
Okay.
like, that's the word for hold. And then I start looking at it, and it turns out the language is actually not letters; it's sounds. So that
Oh,
those the way it's written
interesting.
is written ha oh old hold. And so it is so
Oh,
weird. And then the deeper you
wow.
dive into it, like there's sentences that you can figure out, and
Wow.
I was just kind of playing around with it. And I'm like, okay, this is really deep, and I cannot believe they did this. Like
Yeah.
made this happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm not going to bother. Like it was fun to kind of figure that out on my
Yeah.
own, but
Yeah.
also I'm not going to bother like trying to do that. I'm going to just go online and look at it later. But
Sure. Yeah.
because I'm like, okay, I love that. That's really cool that this language is its own language and you can figure it out. And if you're a linguistic person, then
Mm-hmm.
you would really love it. But also, I was like, once I figured that out, I was like, okay, cool. I'm okay if somebody else just translates it for me. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is that. I mean, again, just my mind is blown. That's just so cool the way that they've spent all that time and care, coming up with that because it
Yeah.
just, and I think, as you were saying a little bit earlier, like, definitely read the manual, but you don't have to go that deep with this game if you don't want to, right?
You don't.
There's just enough hints within the manual that you can kind
Like,
of
for
go, oh, okay,
example,
this is, yeah, go
I
on.
was gonna say, like, for example, like read the one part, I was so lost, and I just discovered a page in the manual that said, um, I can't remember now. Like I think it was quarry or the quarry page. I
Uh-huh.
found the quarry page and the cathedral page, and I was like, okay. And I was like, what do I do now? And then I was trying to go around. And I was like, I don't know where to go. And then I was like, you know what? I need to go to the quarry because that's the last page I found. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's my hint. I need to go to the quarry. So without
Right.
even reading the manual, as long like that was the page you found. So it's kind of like
Yes.
directing you where you should go.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so lost in the cathedral. By the way, you do die in this game, and the only way you can get through that cathedral is if you're dead.
Yes,
So
exactly.
I'm like, what the hell?
You
So because
Oh,
I
that
was
bit.
stuck in that cathedral area forever as an alive person, and then I read on the top it
Mm-hmm.
says only dead people can whatever go into the
Right.
graveyard,
Yes.
and I'm like,
Yes.
ah. I said I don't know what to do, and then finally I died. Thank God, figured that out, and then boom. I was like, and then that's when the light bulbs went off, and here I
Mm-hmm.
am in this world, and I'm like, I'm going to win. So it was so satisfying once I figured out how to die.
That was when I had to look up. I was like, yeah, because it happens right at the after you find the three what are they called?
The Triforce is what I'm calling it.
It's basically the Triforce. You find 3 kind of different elements.
They
and
look
you
like
put them in there.
nuts and bolts.
Yeah, yeah.
Little
And I just was
hexagon
like,
things. They call them hexa something, but
yeah. What's it called?
I don't think they actually have names for them. I think people have. Well, maybe the translated language has a name for it. I think the translated language has a name for it, and that's what people have been calling it. And
right,
but
right,
I already
right,
forgot.
right.
So
yeah, but that for me was one of the other moments where I was like, that's a little too obtuse. Like
it was, but I just by chance went into the
cool.
spirit world, and I was like, oh my god, the air, there you are, because he or she was had escaped from the thing that I released her from, and I'm like, okay, where did she go? She's not there, like putting her palm out to me and like looking at me, and with all my offerings around her in the spirit world, because you can go to the spirit world. And then so I was like, okay, so I went to that arena that had the big sword, and then it was the first cutscene in the game. And I was like, oh, and then she fucking hits me. And I'm like, oh, and I don't know what to do. And then she kills me. And then because she kills me with that spirit sword, I come back as a spirit. So you can't just die and expect something to happen. You have to be killed by her. But I was just like, and then when that happened, I was like, I'm going to beat this game. And I knew exactly, like, I knew exactly what I had to do at that point. And I said, there's not much left, and I know exactly what I need to do. So
yeah. Yeah, it's that sense of you feel like you've accomplished something. Even though I looked it up, I was still like, oh, that's really cool that this is part of what I have to do.
Yes.
So I didn't have that same sense of accomplishment that you had, but I also was like, oh my God, I want to see how this plays out. I want to know why this is going to happen. And I just applauded, the choices that they were making, from a kind of, mechanic standpoint or, mechanic of the game. Because typically, what the air, the H-E-I-R, is this spirit for most of the time, and actually that's who you're giving
and they're very large.
your sacrifices to, right? That's what you're giving at the altar, your flowers and your mushrooms and stuff.
You're sacrificing
and
to
they
this fox thing.
Yeah, exactly. And they look like a benevolent kind of kind spirit, and then suddenly it's all juxtaposed on
However,
you,
when she kills you, she falls down on her hands and knees and looks down like she's sad about it, like she didn't want to do that. And so back to where I was the beginning, where I said I think I'm almost done. I think my next step is to go kill her or beat her.
Okay.
So I think that's my next step. But I'm not doing it yet because I'm in the mode of finding all the fairies. Have you found any fairies?
Have I found any fairies? I don't think I've found any fairies.
You have to find 10 fairies before you can get the last page of the book, just so you know. But
oh, I see.
There's like 12 or 13 fairies. I didn't count. But there's a whole page in the book, and it has the code to type in, and then they shoots these little like sparks out, and then you follow those sparks because they give you the location of where a fairy is. And then when you get to that location, then you kind of like look around like, what am I doing here? And then you'll see like there's like some weird design in like some of the rocks or cement, and you're like, this is weird. And then you have to do the D-pad code thing, and boom, you get a fairy. It's all they call it the Holy Cross, as I realized. The Holy Cross is what it's called because it's the D-pad. So
oh, interesting. How clever. That's really cool. That's really cool.
Once that clicked for me, I was like, okay, this game is all about typing up, down, left, right, B, B. No, there's no A, B or whatever, but it's all about typing in directions. And that's when I got my notebook out. I'm like, okay, we're writing all this stuff down now.
Yeah. And then again, another metaphor for gay life. Like, I have tried to find all the fairies. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
You gotta go find them. You gotta push the right buttons to find them. That's it. Yeah, I just think, all that kind of, just really, really cool. And that the fact that, you can, if you are stuck, just open up that manual with the page that you have. And, and I think the game gives you the pages of the manual as you need them at the right time, right?
It does, yes.
And so it's just another testament to, they want you to trust that they're not going to leave it, so unclear, but you do have to like go with the kind of discovery and exploration and, try new things out to get it. And when you do, you go, oh, I see what you've done. This is really clever. Yeah.
And it is cool. Open world, and you can literally go anywhere you want to in the beginning. There's nothing stopping you. So it's kind of just like Breath of the Wild is. Like, you can literally go and beat Ganondorf immediately. Or Ganon, whatever. Wait, Am I saying his name right? Ganon.
Ganon, yeah.
But it's also
Ganon
like,
and Ganondorf, yeah.
yeah. So you can go and
Yeah.
be Ganon in the very beginning, if you really want to. Like you can go straight
Mm-hmm.
there and do it. So like there's in this game you can literally go anywhere
Mm-hmm.
for the most part in the beginning of this
Yeah.
open world, and
Yeah.
but when you're there, like you're not going to succeed unless you. So that's why the manual is important because it's going to tell
Yeah.
you what your next step is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love that.
You realize you don't have the right equipment, or you realize maybe you don't have the right whatever you need to kind of get past.
You need
that.
stats because
Yeah.
you are weak to
Mhm.
begin with, and that
Yeah.
stick ain't gonna get you far.
Nope. So cool. Yeah, definitely love the manual part, the manual madness of it all. Final thoughts on what are you thinking, Mike? Final thoughts. I don't want to get to a rating yet. I have a few thoughts that didn't necessarily fit in some of these categories, but I've got
Okay.
some kind of wrap up thoughts that I think.
Before that, though,
yeah.
I want to touch on what you said last week about the Rogue. What is it called? Star Wars
Oh yeah, Star Wars Outlaws.
Outlaws. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know how you said that game, like, oh, you can sell this. You can sell this for money or whatever. And it's fine if you do that. You're not going to need to hold on to it.
Oh, yeah.
I love how
yeah, for
this
sure.
game has zero of that mechanic. It's like everything. I didn't know what to do with these things I was finding, though.
Yeah.
But, and then there's this one, like, you find a fox head and you break it and you get coins. That's all it literally is there for. But I didn't feel like, and your inventory box never gets overfull. And everything had its purpose, which I liked because there was no wondering. And so that's one part they did well. Like I knew for a fact, like I don't need any of this stuff. This stuff I need to use to increase my stats and this and that. Like, so I like that there was no, because if they would have added that mechanic where I can sell stuff, I was like, oh God, like I would have been even more confused. Like, what is this for? So, but yeah. Everything is usable and you need to use it. So,
and has a purpose and
has a purpose.
And that yeah, you just reminded me of another thought where I think, going back to a statement I made earlier around why I think this borrows from Zelda, but like elevates it in a way that Zelda never does, is because everything you find, it's not overloaded with loads of different weapons. It's not bloated with different, unique items that you get once and you use it once. No, you get a few things, not loads of weapons and stuff, but each of them have a purpose, and you need it through every aspect of the game, like all the way to the very end. And so everything just feels like it needs to be there rather than, like, I don't know, you get the gust bellows from, Twilight Princess or something where it's like you're blowing sand off. It's like, oh, come on, is that the mechanic we need? And I guess that's interesting, but then you barely ever use it again. So it's kind of like, I think they really thought about that in this game, and I loved that aspect of it. I think that was really cool.
Okay, so back to the final thoughts.
So,
and for my little rate, I guess it's not rating, but it's kind of how the game is. Is it a top or is it a bottom? And I think this game is actually a verse top.
Okay. And just to remind listeners, so top means punishing and demanding, and verse is complex and balanced. So
and bottom is inviting and mysterious. So
yes,
it is not a bottom because it is not inviting. This game is not inviting at all. However, it is mysterious, and that's why
very mysterious.
I'm giving it a verse top.
Yes.
It is super complex. I wouldn't say balanced. So it is punishing, it is demanding, it is super confusing at first, but it has its top moments, it has its bottom moments. So it is verse. But it is a great game, and honestly, I'm going to say, and not with the open world Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom kind of stuff, but like for past Zeldas like Link's Awakening or anything like that, I'm gonna say it's better than those Zelda games. It is way better.
Wow.
I enjoy Link's Awakening. I love it. It's one of my favorite games, actually.
Sure.
And Wind Waker and all that is really fun as well. But this is the mystery with this and the satisfaction of playing this game. I hope they make more, because this it's better for me than I'm a Zelda stan, so like this I was so happy with this game, and they did such a good job, and I don't care if they copied some stuff. So it was so this game is almost perfect except for when it wasn't. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I couldn't say it better myself.
The perspective is annoying. Perspective is annoying. And the stuff is so super complex. But if they made a second game, I already know, I already know what all this complex stuff is, so I'll be able to, I'll go in with like a leg up, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love the lore and I love the mystery of it, and it's just a really cool game. I can't say anything else.
I mean, I think all of that. I think I would say it is a it's definitely, verse top. Definitely, you're right. It is definitely punishing. It's definitely demanding. It is complex. It's definitely not as balanced as it could be. But I don't think that imbalance is too much of a disservice to the overall experience. I think you figure out the imbalance part as you go through, and I think, because I am a Zelda stan. Like, I would be always there day one for a new Zelda game, and even if it's a bad Zelda game, I'm still gonna love it. But I think for what this, and I understand the Zelda comparison. I completely get it, and it's obviously inspired from that and borrows from it.
Yeah.
But I almost wouldn't want listeners to think that this is a Zelda-like in any way. It has a few bits and pieces that you go, oh, I get it because I played a Zelda. But this is entirely different.
It's unique
in so many ways, and so I think that I find myself wanting to go back for more. The fact that even on this conversation, because I haven't finished it yet, I think I'm about, I'm definitely working my way towards the end game. I kind of get that, but I want to keep going back to it. I want to keep finding secrets.
Yeah.
And, I think for the game to keep pulling me back in like that for me is just makes it such a great experience. And on a number scale, I would say this is a solid, I flip between an 8 or a 9, but I would say it's a solid 8 out of 10 for me, strong 8 out of 10.
I'm with you on that. An 8.5, if you want to.
There we go.
Give it a little in between. And like I said, I marked off for perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that you are hiding things and that everything's kind of challenging to find, but sometimes it's just kind of unnecessary.
Yeah.
There should be more blowing up walls to where you can find, then get something out of there. But the perspective can be annoying, especially I got stuck at one point and I was like, how do I get out of here? It took me 5 minutes, but so
it breaks the flow and the immersion, doesn't it?
Exactly. And maybe because even though I love the manual, maybe give us a little bit more to help us figure it out, because that was it was sitting there looking at it for over an hour. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And so that's been frustrating. But however, it is so satisfying once you once you figure it out. It's like, oh my God, this is amazing. So
and I think all the those little tweaks that you said, so let's say I trust this developer now, right? I think if the second I find out they're making another game, I'm there for it. They've got me. They're in my good. I trust it, right? But I think on that note, because of the kind of everything's not super clear, or maybe the challenge is too much at the start. I feel like maybe he probably lost some players.
Oh no, there's a lot of people who are were put off by it instantly.
Totally, yeah. And I would say if you were one of those players and you thought oh, this isn't for me, this isn't right, I just really want you to push through. Yeah, just push through the first 10 hours of the game, and things will really start to kind of click and gel for you. I think it's totally worth it. It's absolutely worth, busting through and, getting over that. And the imperfections that we've mentioned will start to kind of feel not as strong, if you will. They start to kind of go into the background.
Yes.
But I agree with you. I knock it off from perspective. And then that menu button, I mean, that really pissed me off. That really just kind of makes me so
okay, never mind. It's an 8.
I
forgot about that. I'm already mad.
0.5
I'm
for
thinking about
bad
it now.
menu design. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm so mad at this. Like,
Yeah. Oh man. So well, there we go. Good exploration of Tunic. Any last thoughts, Mike, on Tunic that you want to say that you haven't said?
um, there are a lot more mysteries I know to uncover that I haven't because
Mm-hmm.
and I'm excited to find them. Any last thoughts? Play this game. I didn't. I've put it in the back burner for over 2 years, I think, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just now getting to it. And I wish I would have found it earlier because it is definitely a joy, a frustrating joy at that. But like I said, there's nothing beats the satisfaction of figuring out something on your own, and this did it for me. So no, I mean that's all I gotta say on Tunic. Cute little furry.
Nothing else to add to that. Yeah, and it's the perfect gay metaphor for life.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, what else do you want? Good video game, good gay metaphor. Love it. Cool. So I think on the other one on our list, Mike, we didn't discuss this before, but it just came to mind. The other one on our list from our backlog was Bayonetta 3. Are we going to pick
Bayonetta.
that up next?
We should. That definitely need to do that. I need to finish Tunic, and I want to finish Tunic, and I do
Cool.
want to jump back into Hades. But Bayonetta 3, we can get that going. I feel like Bayonetta 3 will be more of a straightforward game
Yeah.
because it's just
Yeah.
like I said, it's chaos and the C word, the C word.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's bring Brat to Bayonetta. Why not? That'll be great.
Yes, I know it's going to be chaos, but yeah, that's exciting, and it'll
Cool.
definitely be completely different vibe, different feel. There's there's no mystery to figure out in this. It is just gonna it is linear. It's gonna walk you through it. I think it is at least.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I think after something so tight and contained, something
Uh-huh.
so big and explosive and expansive like that, it's just going to be a nice change of pace, I think. So
exactly.
cool. Okie dokie. Well, I think that's about all the time we have left for this episode, Mike. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this discussion about Tunic. What a great game. Get out there, you people who are afraid of Tunic. Stop being afraid. Pick this game up and love it. And for all you Tunic stands out there, if you love it, leave some comments below in the comments section. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We're trying to grow our community so that people can see us and enjoy the conversation. Leave some comments about what you thought on this episode. We'd love it. If you are listening to this on podcast, please leave a review on the podcast services that you use. That really helps us get some exposure. We'd really appreciate it. I think that's about everything for this episode. Mike, where can the listeners find you on socials so they can interact with you?
Always at Out of Sync Gaming on Instagram and at Mike Malldee on Instagram as well. And if you play League of Legends, Malldee, you can find me there.
Go hit them up with a run. Go do what League of Legenders do and raid a castle. I don't know.
Oh God,
Obviously not
we're
one
gonna
of
have
those.
to have another episode about this. You have no clue.
It was all going so well until I got it wrong.
Ruiner.
Well, yeah, look up Out of Sync Gaming online at outofsyncgaming.co.uk. As Mike said, on our socials, also on Blue Sky, we're there too. And we've got a Discord community. Come and join us over there. Leave your thoughts about what you think. And if you want to hear a question discussed in a future episode about anything gaming related or any question you might have about life, we'll try and answer that. You can email us at gamers@outofsyncgaming.co.uk. And we will read your question and talk about it on an episode. Send in your thoughts about what you thought of Tunic. We'd love to hear your thoughts as well, and we can read those on the next episode. Well, that's about everything for now from Out of Sync Gaming. And until next time, remember, just play the games you want.
Just play what you want.
Bye.
Peace.